Hello VC team, it is 8 o'clock and we have 24 hours to make this day count. Today I want to talk about giving up and when is the best time to stop a project or slow it down. My personal belief for the past 3 to 4 years is to never give up a project. However, after some years of hard work and hustling, I start to understand that health is extremely important. Let's make this more practical. As you already know, 1 or 1.5 weeks ago, I got a green light from my professor to start working on my presentation. My professor told me to make a test presentation after Easter break. However, I told him that I have the ability to create it before Easter break and present it before Easter break. I did that because I wanted to be one step ahead in my work. And this was my first mistake, but we can talk about that more after my running. A presentation has 3 main key points. The first one is the actual PowerPoint, then the speech, and finally how you will deliver. My main strategy for a presentation is to start by working in the PowerPoint and at the same time create the speech. So I basically have 2 separate documents opened, one for the PowerPoint and one for the speech for every single slide. This makes the process really slow, but at the same time, when you finish with the PowerPoint, you basically finish with everything. The problem here is that a test presentation needs to have everything. And at the same time needs to persuade my professor that this is a good presentation in order to go to the third step. The problem is that it is actually impossible to create everything in only 3 weeks. You can pull it off only if you don't sleep. And don't forget that most of the time I have so many other small parts that take most of my day. So as you already saw from my previous 2 logs, the plan was to not sleep for as many nights as I could until I could finish my whole presentation. This is the first break of my first course, so I have about 5 minutes to fill you in with the basics. Unfortunately, I lose about 4 minutes of footage in my car because I didn't press the record button. So I will just tell you the basics. So I work for about 5 or 6 hours with my sister in some calculus problems in the role and MVT theorem. Then I went to university. I have 2 courses. The first one is right now for 2 hours in operational research, and I really love this course. I will tell you more about that in another vlog. And the second one is in 2 hours for digital filters. So I basically have 1 hour in the middle in order to make a meeting with one of the members of the BBC squad. Right now we are developing a course in computer vision, but again more about that in another vlog. So let's talk again about the main reason that I gave up. Until now we had in my schedule the test presentation and 3 assignments in 3 of my courses from university. About 1 week ago I learned that I will make a speech for the Mathematical Society. This was not a test presentation, this was a real speech for hundreds of people, and I wanted to create an inspirational speech that combined math and what exactly you can do. Okay, I just learned that the course already started, so we'll make it quick. In general, about this speech, I want to create something inspirational that combines math and what you can do in other fields, for example, engineering, computer vision, machine learning, and all that stuff. So the main idea is that it needs to take most of my time in order to make something perfect. Let's go to the course. We just conclude that we need to use Jupyter Notebook in our next course. This is basically a software or a debugger that runs in your browser and it is really easy for the student or the programmer to use it without installation and at the same time write in LaTeX the basic instructions for the code. This is a software or a debugger that basically helps you really easy to write code in Python and at the same time help the student, because the instructor have the ability to write in LaTeX the main instructions for the code. By the way, in the case that you have any experience with Jupyter notebooks and how to share them, write down in the comments in order to discuss about that. So right now I need to create the setup for the Jupyter notebook and how we'll use OpenCV in order to use easy libraries for computer vision. So in the whole story about my presentation and my speech, I thought that I had about 3 weeks before Easter break. So the moment that I decided that I need to give up and take some sleep was when I talked with my sister and told me that I have only 2 or basically 1.5 weeks instead of 3 weeks. In that second, I decide to get my priorities straight. First of all, I decide what needs to be done right now and what can be done after Easter break. For example, my test presentation has the ability to start after my Easter break. On the other hand, the speech is in exactly 7 days from now. So right now, I need to concentrate on the speech and at the same time need to concentrate in the exercises from a university that has the sooner deadline. So right now, I basically don't give up, but I postpone my test presentation for about 3 or 2 weeks in order to have an even better final project and at the same time get some sleep. Okay, so right now I will work for 5 more minutes and then... So when I stopped working in my presentation, I decided to just sleep. This means that after about 3 years, I decided to sleep without an alarm, which is extremely different from me. The problem is that my body is set to wake up every day at 6 or 7 a.m. This means that even without an alarm, I basically woke up at 7 a.m. every single day, at exactly 7 a.m. This wasn't very helpful for me. This whole process doesn't help me a lot, but at the same time was refreshing to wake up without an alarm. So right now I want to go home and have a break for about 30 minutes or 1 hour. And then I will work in 2 things. The first one is again the setup of my Jupyter notebook, and the second one is to start my assignment in digital filters. I think that this will be an interesting assignment, so I will try to show you bits and pieces of my code and the results. Hello BC team, it is 10 o'clock and right now we'll go to sleep. I want to sleep until 6 o'clock, which is 8 hours of sleep, and it will be the first time after 3 days that I will use an alarm clock. I'm still debating on whether I will go for a run tomorrow or not, but tomorrow I want to definitely start my exercise in digital filters, so see you then. Hello BC team, it is 7:30, I woke up about 1.5 hours ago and I'm working in the installation of the OpenCV in Anaconda. Actually this will help me to make computer vision programs in Jupyter Notebook. If you don't get any of that, don't worry, it is just a compiler for Python. The important part is that I just succeed to install the OpenCV, so this is great. One of my biggest pet peeves of programming is to set up a new programming language and in general to make everything work. I really hate to just install stuff and search on internet what it doesn't work. I just want to work with programming, so it's a big relief when you make the final installation. I think that I will end the log right here because I need to start working, and I will see you in 3 days. Don't forget to subscribe in order to join the PVC team, and as always, keep coding guys.